Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Cut the Bullshit, the lost episode. This was recorded in December 2025. The news stories featured in here were up to date at the time of recording. I'm not going any further into what we actually did after this episode in regards to the outcomes of any of the stories and stuff. But while we're waiting on finishing off the second series, which is going along nicely, I found this in my old files and discussed it with my colleague and decided to release it. So I hope you enjoy and speak to you soon. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cut the Bullshit. It's been a little bit of it's been a while actually. I can't speak, so put my teeth back in. But yeah, it's been a while. We took a bit of a break because things were getting on top of us. As we've said before, we both do have jobs and we both do have families, which kind of just gets in the way at times. So we're just trying to find out a schedule that kind of worked for us. But today's episode is basically going to be a what we missed episode. From obviously when we last recorded to up until now.
Yeah, it's not going to be everything. We're just going to touch on some quite hefty things that happened and some not so hefty things that happened, along with something that's coming up which will affect everyone, especially the likes of me who smoke, and electric car drivers, which electric car drivers are not going to be happy with. But hey ho, life's a bitch. Go back to diesel.
Let's be honest though, who's actually happy driving an electric car? And we've touched on this in the episode, by the way. If you've not seen it, it will be in the link below. But who's happy driving an electric car anyway?
Well, I wouldn't be anyway. So that's why I got myself a nice big dirty 2.4 litre diesel. Right, yeah. So, well, how's you been?
Yeah, just busy, working a lot as per usual, and then obviously my lad has took a lot of my time up, as you well know. So just trying to keep myself busy, and then obviously as you well know, my mental health has not been absolutely amazing, but it's something that we will touch on at some point down the line. We're going to do an episode about that, aren't we? Anyway.
Yeah, we've got quite whether it be a long episode or a 2-part episode, I'm not 100% yet. We've not sort of, we need to dive into it a bit more with other things, but both of us have been suffering quite badly at the moment, so that'll be something that we do go into on another sort of episode, because that needs its own thing.
100%.
So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, how have you been?
Yeah, same shit, different day, mate. Same shit, different day.
It's great, isn't
it? Yeah. The circle of bullshit.
Yeah, it's not the circle of life; it's the circle of bull.
Yeah, exactly that, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. But speaking of bull, should we get on and talk about some actually bullshit that we've missed over the last couple of months?
Well, yeah, I think so. Charles James Kirk. Let's touch on that for a minute.
Hang on, are we talking about Star Trek or Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, live long and prosper is not what he's doing. Sorry, I couldn't resist. No, honestly, in all seriousness,
can that go in the final edit?
It fucking is. It's about one of the best jokes I've ever made. No, it's in all seriousness. Look, at the end of the day, it's bullshit what happened to him. Yeah. And just because some twat didn't agree with what he believes in, it doesn't give you the license to go out and fucking kill the guy. He had a wife, he had kids. He believed in what he believed in. We all believe in what we believe in. Again, we'll say it. We'll keep saying it through the entire fucking lifespan of this podcast. We are remaining anonymous because of what we believe in. And as much as we do devil's advocate this a lot, and we don't, put out a lot of stuff that could be put out because it could potentially backfire. We believe in what we believe in. Does that mean that if I believe in something you don't believe in, does that mean you can come down, kick shit out of me and call it a day? Doesn't, does it?
No, it's not right, is it? I mean, we're starting to live in a society now where you can't have an opinion on something. We're starting to live in a society now where, freedom of speech isn't a thing. And that that scares me in a sense, because I mean we've both got families. We've obviously got extended families as well, and we want to teach our families that you can speak what you want, you can feel what you want, and it's starting to feel like we can't do that in any form of way. And I don't want to live in a world like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not just about freedom of speech either. It's about the media influencing and putting out information. And Charlie himself did put out some false information about the likes of COVID-19 and stuff like that. And he was a very close friend to Donald Trump, and we all know what he's like. So he had his faults, same as everybody else. In my opinion, don't get me wrong. We're not American, but
Thank God.
Trump does have a lot of influence over the world's finances, doing what he's doing with tariffs and stuff like that. But everybody has their faults, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve to live for believing in what they believe in. And it's the same with religion and stuff like that. It's the same principles. You believe what you want to believe, mate. Couldn't give a shit. Problem is, there's an isolated group of people who think that it is that you have to believe what they believe, and if you don't, you shouldn't live anymore. And this is exactly what happened to Kirk. He was a he was a right wing political activist. So straight myself, I think I'm sort of centre left. You just said you were dead in the middle before we started recording.
I kind of stick in the middle, and then I dip my toe in and out depending on what the subject is that we're talking about. But Charlie Kirk, should say, was like far right wing. But the thing that got me about the whole thing was the fact that it was done at a uni in Utah, so Utah Valley University. It was done and he was actually at a rally talking to people, so it was done in the public eye. And that is like, to me, that's like a statement killing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The Tyler Robinson, who's obviously being charged for it, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
that was calculated.
He knew exactly what he was going to do, because he left a note for his roommate, I think it was, who said, "If I get the chance, I'm going to take it." And he got the chance purely based on the location of where the location of the talk and the location of the shooting. From what I saw while I was doing the research on this, that it was a clear line of sight from that rooftop.
Yeah.
And that's why he got such a good shot out of it.
I have to give it to him. It was a cracking shot, but it's still bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, we try and lighten things up, but certain things can't be lightened up, But he was talking about gun violence as well, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. The irony of that.
Exactly that. And I think the killer, what was his name? Sorry,
Tyler Robinson.
Yeah, I think he knew. Well, from what I saw on the sort of process of how it happened, he picked the right bloody point to take the shot as well.
Yeah, telling you. But before we move on, I just want to say, our condolences do go out to, his family and his friends, because no one should, pass away like that. As we've all had some form of tragedy in our lives, and we've all had to deal with death in some form of way, but no one should be taken like that in any form of way. It's not right. And I do honestly, sincerely hope that his family are okay and they can get through this extremely difficult time, because we know the court case is ongoing and stuff like that, and it's just going to drag on and drag on. So hopefully it's just over and done with quick, and they can just kind of in a way try and move on. But there'll be no getting away from that.
Well, no, and I think that from what the support that Trump's giving the family is something else as well, obviously, that because they were close friends. But in taking away from all of this, if you're listening to this, just because you don't like what someone believes doesn't mean you have the right to harm them in any way, whether that be verbal, physical, shooting them in the head, whatever. Just fucking brush it off, or do what we do on some of the subjects that we talk about and have a civilized fucking discussion on it. And if it starts getting fucking heated, walk away and then come back later and do it again. We've all seen the videos of Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, I think his name is Shapiro, on TikTok and all of that, where he has these discussions with trans activists, trans people, religious people, all of these different people. He has these discussions with them, and they leave it at what they leave it at, because generally 9 times out of 10, Shapiro and Kirk were correct anyway. We've already been through a trans episode ourselves, so we already know the stupidity that exists in that community. Again, not all of them. You know, I want to say that, but some of them, like
a large portion of them,
thought they were a man that thought they were not going to get pregnant.
Okay, don't.
Anyway, so call back. So yeah, just if you take anything away from anything, just fucking listen to people and disagree with them all you want, but leave them alone.
Yeah, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's a very old saying, but it's very fucking true.
Yes, exactly that.
Now, going from one tragedy to another, obviously, we had the synagogue attack in Manchester last month on October 2nd. Synagogue attacker Jihad al-Shami, if that's how you pronounce it, died of multiple gunshot wounds after launching his deadly terror attack on the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. Again, this does not make any sense to me. What are you trying to accomplish with this?
I don't know. He rang 999 while he was committing this crime, this atrocity. Yep. He rang 999, and the quote was, "I have killed 2 Jews in the name of Islamic State." So back to the religion thing again. Leave him alone. You don't like the religion, it doesn't matter. Let them crack on doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, within this, one of the Jewish worshippers that died was collateral damage. He got struck by a bullet fired by one of the officers, which is obviously unfortunate, and he shouldn't have. But either way, this shouldn't have happened anyway. So it doesn't make much of a difference of whether who was the ultimate. And the other one was stabbed by the stupid prick. I really am speechless, mate. I really am. As somebody with Jewish heritage, I mean, I don't subscribe to a religion. I think I've already said this. I don't believe in it also.
Yeah.
Don't subscribe to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't, believe certain things and whatever. Why? Just why? What's the point? What is it achieving? What it actually achieved was the prick getting shot dead.
Yeah.
So it didn't achieve anything.
No, it did nothing for whatever cause he was trying to fight for, whatever statement he was trying to do. It did nothing because you died in the end. He died of multiple gunshot wounds. So it did nothing for you in any form of way. It just basically shown the world that you are an absolute tit, and you got shot for doing what? For causing what? A little upset, yes, I understand that. Heartbreak, yes. You won there, but you lost your life at the end of it.
Yeah,
you did. So you didn't win anything from this at all. The worst thing that got me about the whole thing, it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. What happened on the actual day was tragedy, and nothing else surpassed that. But this guy was in prison, or he was in jail a few days earlier for alleged rape, and he was released on bail. So he's in jail for alleged rape, and then he goes on bail, and then he does this while he's on bail, and then dies. So it just shows how fucked this judicial system in this country actually is.
Yeah.
Because we can't hold someone like that who's in jail for rape, and then he gets on bail, and then he gets out on bail and then does this. What more does this country need to? What more tragedy does this country need to go through to realise that the way we're treating prisoners or potential prisoners, it's not working? You just had someone in prison for one crime, he gets out, and then commits that, and then dies.
Well, I mean, there's one less space taken up a prison now, obviously, but the guy was a pussy anyway. He had a fake suicide vest on. We're not being funny or out, but if you're going to do it fucking properly. You know what I mean? Because surely he didn't expect to come out of that alive anyway.
Couple of bars of soap sellotaped to his chest.
Yeah. Couple of bars of soap sellotaped to his chest with some fucking charger cables.
HDMI leads. Just...
Painted red with TNT written on it, like fucking Wile E. Coyote. No, it's something else we will get into in another episode is the judicial system, and how fucked it actually is, in regards to treating two people who've committed two different crimes of different severities, being threatened differently, but not in the way you would assume. One did a worse crime than the other, but the one that did the worst crime got less than the other. I don't understand it, but that's something that we'll touch on later on, because it's something that we need to do a lot of research in so we don't get our facts wrong. But yeah, I mean, look, we'll leave it at that for him because I don't want to give him any more airtime. Just thoughts with the families, as always, of the people affected by that, and the Jewish community in general, because they will be affected heavily by that, because it's a big synagogue, as far as I remember, Heaton Park.
Yeah.
And it's a big community of Jewish people around that area. So, thoughts are with them as always.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of prisoners,
I'll let you go with this one.
Mistakenly released prisoners.
How can you make it? How can you make a mistake? By the way, just before you carry on, how can you make this much of a fuck up? Well, where's your clerical error? Like, I want to know who's on the fucking the paper shit or doing that documentation, because that person needs sacking.
That's the problem. It's an outdated system.
Outdated, Jesus Christ.
Haven't been upgraded to pull things that they should be pulling when people are processing paperwork. Now, I'll give one of them his due. He went out for 3 days and then handed himself back in again.
He definitely went out and got himself some and then went back.
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't blame him.
No.
But he handed himself back in again, which is fair fucks. William Smith was the one that handed himself back in. Kind of a surprise, to be honest. Brahim Sharif, was it? I don't know. What did he do? Just get a load of fucking Scrabble letters in a bag and throw them in the air and see what landed?
Probably.
Billy Smith. Tell which one's English.
It's not Billy Smith.
Fucking might as well not be at the minute, the amount that fucking boats are arriving, as always. But yeah, 2 weeks previous to this, a sex offender from Epping was accidentally released.
Kabatu.
Yeah, that sounds like some fucking meal of some description. With chicken. Was released from prison. Wait a minute. Isn't that the noise they make on one of them fucking arcade games? What was it? That fighting game. That old fighting game.
You talk about Street Fighter?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Isn't that the noise that they make when they go like that? Fucking firing balls at people and shit.
No.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure it's like that. So it's sort of a douche.
No, it's fucking Ayukan.
All right, wasn't that far away. It begins with H and it's not fucking English. You went to take a swig of your drink there and he couldn't, did you?
Yeah. And he spat it all over my screen.
So he was released from prison mistakenly when he was transferred to an immigration detention centre, which, to me, what the fuck's there in an immigration detention centre for? The guy committed a crime, fuck him back off to his own country and don't let him come back in again. But yeah, how long has this fucking moron been free
It's
now?
been like 2-3 weeks now.
Oh, right, okay. Well, this must be an old article that we're looking at. 6 days it took them to fucking notify the Met Police.
6 days to realise that someone's missing from your prison. I'm not being funny, right? And we'll talk about this in another episode. But one of my favourite films is Shawshank Redemption, as you well know.
Yeah.
And in that, every morning they obviously do the fucking roll call to come out, fucking pen and paper. Is this person here? This person? how do we have a thing now where in our system, in our prisons, we can't count from 1 to say 50? Oh look, there's a prisoner missing.
I don't think it's that. I think that it was the wrong person got the paperwork processed for release. So instead of processing the paperwork for X prisoner that was due for release, that prisoner either didn't get released and wasn't expecting it, or was expecting it either way. And the paperwork ended up going to these two that shouldn't have had it. Do you know what I mean? I know that I'm trying to articulate it, but do you know what I mean? It's not that they were missing the prisoner. It was that they accidentally had the process paperwork for release done when they shouldn't have.
Picture plus name equals person.
Yes, I know. It's fucking ridiculous. It was, and the paragraph I'm looking at here is William Billy Smith, who turned himself in, was also wrongly freed on Monday. According to BBC, Smith was released due to a clerical error, and his custodial sentence was said to have been filed on a computer as a suspended sentence instead of a custodial sentence. When the error was flagged and amended by the court, the correction was sent to the wrong person. How fucking stupid can you be? Do you know what I mean?
Did you get the wrong address?
HMP Wandsworth. Yeah, it's just mad, and there's been loads of times going off, not just this day release from prison. What the fuck is that? Day
Good
release.
behaviour cons.
Day release from prison. That's a fucking school trip. Yeah, that's what it is for prisoners.
Let's all go to the library.
Do you know how many prisoners they've fucking lost after giving them day release? I'll tell you a quick one, right? Fucking, when was it? 2017, 2016, I want to say, when we lived in Manchester. A serial rapist escaped from day release and was seen at a bus stop around the corner from my house. And I'm supposed to let my wife get on the bus every morning in winter, early hours, to get to work with that cunt roaming about? Nope. So I said to her, fuck it, I'll take you to work, I'll bring you home. If you finish at 5 o'clock and I don't get to come and pick you up till 6 o'clock, you wait at work until I fucking turn up, especially in winter. Because he was given the usual moniker of, if you see him, don't approach him because he's dangerous.
Yeah, dark early and all that as well. So
exactly that. You know, coming into this time of year, at time of recording, it's November, early November, so it's fucking pitch black at fucking 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere around there. I can't remember. It is 11:30 now, so it is definitely pitch black. But yeah, the prison system needs to get its fucking ideas booked up, because no doubt over the past X years there's been unnecessary crimes committed.
Yeah.
From theft to rape to sexual assault to actual assault, physical assault, whatever, just because for some reason we let prisoners have a school trip and prisons can't keep on top of paperwork for some reason.
Yeah. It's ridiculous that something as big as a prison system, which it spans the whole of the UK, and it's something as simple as a bit of paperwork, and we end up with people getting released mistakenly from prison. It just shows how I'm going to say juvenile our judicial system is. If it's not fit for purpose. We're too busy focused on stupid little things.
Oh yeah, tax evaders, weed smokers, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
weed dealers. I mean, you know for a fact that I'm a big proponent of weed should be legal and treat like alcohol, taxed and within work conditions, treat like alcohol. If you are coming into work under the influence, you get fired. But having a couple of spliffs of a night time, I don't, because I can't, because of work, and because my missus don't like it. So I don't. I've not smoked weed for fucking years. best part of 20 years ish, to be honest.
Mm.
And but I do think it should be treated like alcohol,
Mm.
and taxed properly and monitored, regulated properly.
Imagine Keir Starmer after a spliff.
I'm imagining Keir Starmer after a shot from an air rifle. But there we go.
We just need to get that Tyler Robinson then. Anyway.
Yeah, well, Charlie Kirkin.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. So from one tragedy to another. UPS plane crash in Kentucky kills at least 12, including a child, as the death toll rises. So a UPS cargo plane caught fire and lost an engine after takeoff in Louisville, and crashing into businesses and killing at least 12 people, including a child.
Yeah.
Oops, they did it again.
Oops. Yeah, very good, very good. Not as good as my live long and prosper, but we'll give it you. Yeah, there's a couple of videos that I'll slide in after we talk about that. Well, in a minute. Fuck it, I'll slide them in now. So there's some cracking good views of what actually happened. There's one on the runway, and there's one. It's just off the airport property and in a truck park, and you can see the reaction to the truck driver who's just having a break, playing on his phone, and all of a sudden this UPS plane fucks off in front of him, kind of like a scene from Knowing. So it's what was it? It was I think it was an engine fire.
Engine fire on the runway, and then it crashed down into businesses. Investigators recovered the flight and voice recorders as crews searched the half-mile debris field. The crash shut down UPS World Port Hub as officials warned the death toll could rise. So at the minute, as we know, it's 12 people, including a child, but we don't know what it is as of yet.
Yeah, so it's actually quite a new story. The initial story broke on the 5th of November, so that was 2 days ago. And obviously, as we know, NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, and so on, take as long as they take to
release everything.
These things. But the videos that you've just seen that I slotted in there, as you can see, that on the runway, the engine is already on fire before it takes off, pretty much. And it is not a very pleasant crash.
No, not at all.
Especially when the thing had just taken off, which means it is full of aviation fuel. It's a big plane. I can't remember what type of plane it was, and it was
a cargo plane.
Yeah, no, what brand, what make?
I'm not sure. I just know it was a UPS cargo plane, so I'd imagine it'd be quite big if it's a cargo plane.
Yeah, it'd be one of the Boeings or one of the Airbus A380s or something. But one thing that I have noticed, which I've looked into and I'm surprised at, is the amount of plane crashes we've been hearing about recently.
Yeah, and they say it's the safest way to travel as well.
It still is the safest way to travel, but I think
figures wise, yeah.
I think we keep seeing, because media, typical media, mate. Typical media, all they do, as you've probably noticed, the first few things we've touched on here have all been depressing shit, and it ain't going to get any better as we go through the rest of the episode. So it's the media always focuses on depressing shit, and if you watch the news, you get an hour of depressing shit and then a couple of good stories about a dog saving a man from a burning building or some shit at the end of the news, and it's literally a 20-second segment or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So I found a graph. I think it's a bar chart that actually shows that while we're hearing more about crashes, they're still on a downward trend.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the surprising things, considering what happened in that year, is 2000 and 2002, I think it was still higher than 2001.
Yeah.
What happened in 2001?
Let's not go there.
No, we won't, because that's an episode all on its bill, and it probably will get touched on in the conspiracy episodes. However, considering that happened in 2001, all right, yes, I appreciate that they grounded flights for God knows how long. But considering how many planes actually did crash within that, to have either side of it still higher, not much higher, but higher crash levels than that year was quite surprising to me. I would have thought that'd still be quite a high year, you know?
I would, yeah. Well, I mean, the plane, I know we were trying to find out what the plane was. The plane, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, was built in 1991.
Fucking hell.
So, 34 years.
Yeah, well done. Bit quick maths at midnight. Yeah, nice one.
Oh, I don't forget, I'm only a year older, so. So yeah, 34 years, and that's basically how it ends. It's it's 34-year service in a ball of flame.
Went out with a bang. But yeah, it's if you could see his face now. If you look after things, you know, luckily it was cargo. It wasn't people, you know.
No, it's still tough. At the minute, 12 people out, like.
Yeah. But when you think that a plane crash of that magnitude with a passenger jet takes out over 300, plus what's on the ground and so on, it is quite isolated to the area that it was in. But again, that don't take that away from the fact that it is still the safest way to travel statistically.
I'll tell you what's not going to be easy to deal with. Is what we're going to talk about now, which is Mr. Farage himself. Saying that minimum wage in the UK should be cut for young people. So this is the Reform leader. Said cutting the minimum wage for young people would boost business as he attacked plans to raise taxes on the wealthy. Now, obviously, me and my colleagues sit at different ends of the spectrum in regards to salaries. Obviously, we won't divulge what, but we sit at different ends, and we both have our own views on it. For me, minimum wage is, I mean, it's in the title. It's minimum wage, the bare minimum it takes for you to survive. Now, obviously, we're both in our 30s, and we've seen things go from pretty fucking low to sky fucking high. In especially in recent years, inflation has been a big issue for a lot of people on the lower end of income, especially people maybe on benefits who struggle to find work because they don't have experience or they don't have the qualifications, whatever it is. I mean, even it's now becoming hard for people to get into McDonald's, for fuck's sake. And McDonald's take on anyone. I should know. I used to work there. But when people are talking about cutting minimum wage for young people because it's going to, boost business, is it though? Is it really? Because for me, when you look at what they're on now, it's something like £8 an hour or something stupid like that, £8-9 an hour for minimum wage for anyone under the age of 21.
£10 an hour.
Is it 10?
£10 an hour.
I honestly, I still think that's too low.
Well, right, okay, so allow me. Now,
there we go.
You've just said that we're on separate ends of the spectrum with regards to salary, which we are. When I was an apprentice electrician, I was 16, come out of school, 17, around there. Do you know I got paid an hour to be an apprentice electrician?
No.
£2.82. That was minimum wage. And that was minimum wage for apprentices. Now, granted, I was getting my training within that and stuff like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you were getting a qualification.
But £2.82 an hour. 18 to 20-year-olds, as we've just said, 18 to 20-year-olds are currently entitled to earn a legal minimum of £10 an hour. If I continued my apprenticeship, I lost my apprenticeship, but if I continued my apprenticeship at 18 to 20, I'd have been on half of that.
But this is what I said before about obviously inflation times have changed.
Yeah.
When you were doing your apprenticeship, you were, as you just said, you were 16, 17. That was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We need to, right, what people don't seem to realise, and I don't understand why they don't realise this. So we'll touch on the upcoming budget shortly. However, taxes are raised every budget in some way, shape or form. And as I said before, for example, I'm a smoker. So a packet of fags, I bought a packet of fags the other day, actually, because I thought I'd treat myself. Nearly £15. Back when I was, back when I first started smoking, 14, 15, 16, they were less than a fiver for 20.
Yeah.
So, and most of that's tax. That raise is tax, which they say goes to fund the NHS. I say it goes to fund their second fucking houses and their fucking holidays.
Yeah, there's no way it funds the NHS because the NHS is broke as it's ever been.
The NHS is on its fucking arse because the government are mismanaging it because of the money that money brings corruption. And this is the problem with government. However, we won't go into that yet. Taxes get raised by them freezing the income tax allowance, which at the minute is frozen till 2028 and no doubt will get frozen again, which drags people into the tax brackets, low earners, 0-hour contract workers, drags them into the tax bracket. I think it's called fiscal drag.
Yeah.
Which means more people pay tax, which means they bring in more money. But for some reason, it's still not enough. I know what I pay in tax. I get best part of £2,000 deducted from my wages every month in tax and national insurance. Yet I still have to pay for my green bin to be emptied. I pay council tax as well. Yeah. 160 quid a month council tax. On the low end compared to some people. My dad pays more than that. I appreciate that.
I pay a little bit. Well, I pay 110.
So we pay all this tax, and then we pay tax on food, and tax on fucking cars, tax on fucking fuel, tax on fucking this, tax on that. Fuck me, mate. The electric I'm using to fucking talk to you is taxed. All right, not at the same rate as VAT, which, by the way, a few years ago was temporarily raised to 20% from 17.5%. And they're looking at raising it again. Where the fuck is all this money going? What I'm on
fucking this black hole that Labour magically fucking found when they took over.
No need to talk about her ass like that. There's or her face, same thing. There's what I'm earning, because I had this discussion a long time ago with my granddad and my dad. I know now what my dad earned before he finished work. He wouldn't tell me while he was in work, but he told me afterwards. And it was a considerable amount less than what I'm on. But that was because before things became a considerable amount more than what they were. Butter used to be 77p. It's now £2 odd. I'll find a comparison thing and put it in to show you just the differences between what prices used to be in the best part of the 90s, early 2000s, compared to what they are now. And it's ridiculous.
Well, this is what I mean. And when we're talking about the price difference, you said before, and I'll go back to that, where you were earning £2 odd for your apprenticeship, and then but minimum wage now is £10. When you look at what the hell does £10 get you now? It gets you next to fucking nothing. And the amount of people that I've seen who are working and claiming benefits at the same time, and then there was one girl I seen on TikTok. I don't know the name. It was a little while ago. Inflation was really bad, and everything. And she's got her and a partner both work. They've got one child who was in daycare. They were working 40 hours a week each. And basically she's done a breakdown of what they both earn, so what their total income was and what they paid out. And it was literally a, play-by-play breakdown of what they pay out. Before they paid for petrol or travel and food, they were left with £40 a month. And this was 2 full-time workers with 1 child in daycare. Now, we've both been through daycare. We know how much that fucking costs. It's not fucking cheap. And to be left with £40, and you've got to, and they both worked in the same place, so they both got paid on the same day. It was not like there was not like a 2-week over gap or nothing like that. It's like, oh, I'm left with 40 quid, but you get paid in 2 weeks, so we'll be fine. There was nothing like that. It was literally paid on the same day. That's how much they were left with. £40, and they had to feed, I think the baby at the time, or the child at the time, was like 19 months old. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know how much, you're well aware, as am I, how much baby products cost nowadays. It's not cheap. £10 an hour is not an awful lot for an 18-year-old.
It depends on the situation the 18-year-old's in as well. If they're still living at home with mum and dad and everything's paid for, then £10 an hour's fucking rich. But if they're in that situation where they're out, I mean, Christ, mate, I got married early, and stuff like that, and some 18-year-olds, some under 18s don't get the fortunate sort of thing of living at home and stuff like that, which I appreciate.
I didn't.
Exactly, and it depends on the situations that they're in. But the main point that I was going to make before, raising minimum wage, regardless of whether it's for people that are 18 to 20, 21 and above, people in the hospitality industry who generally are on minimum wage, regardless of that, raising minimum wage is a fucking stupid idea. Because what happens when you raise minimum wage? You've just told Mr. Warburton that he's got to pay his staff £1 an hour more. So what's going to happen to the price of Mr. Warburton's loaf of bread?
Yeah, it's going to go up.
It's going to go up. Along with every damn fucking thing else in the world or in the country. So what they're actually doing is creating an unbreakable circle of shit. Because every time they raise minimum wage, Mr. Warby's got to raise his fucking bread prices.
Yeah, but then they go into, I mean, in the last, was it the last budget or the budget before, when they hiked up fucking national insurance, and then you see small businesses closing left, right, and centre because the money's not coming in, and then they've got to pay the staff, or they've got to pay the extra national insurance for all the staff
contributions. Yeah. So what they've actually done there is they've killed business.
Yeah.
So they've done a factor.
So driving national minimum wage down can't be a good thing in a sense that, because people aren't spending enough now. People aren't spending the money now. They're not going out.
Minimum wage. That's because wages haven't gone up in proportion. So you put £1 on someone's wage, a pound an hour on everyone's wage, right? 8 hours a day. That's £8 a day more for each worker, which brings in more tax. Also brings in more national insurance. But what it doesn't do is go up in proportion. So minimum wage will go up, or wage goes up at a 45-degree angle in the chart, whereas the price of shit goes up at a 90-degree angle in a chart.
Mm-hmm.
It's always out of proportion, and it's inflation. It's based off inflation. So inflation's, and now obviously we've not long come out of the 15% inflation period that we had due to COVID and all this, that, and the other shit that's been happening in the world. But you can't expect companies to raise minimum, to pay more minimum wage every time without losing out somewhere. Now, I'm not talking about big companies. I'm not talking about the fact that the electric companies are boasting, banks are boasting billions of pounds of profit every year, Yet all of us, including me, even though I'm on a decent wage, are trying to figure out a way to fucking pay for shit. Why? And bills go up. Electric bills go up. The banks fucking do less interest or more interest, whichever way it works around. Take electric as the proper example, electric and gas. Bills keep going up, but the fucking Eon is boasting that they've made £60 billion in the first quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
How is that allowed? How is profit not capped?
Don't know.
Profit should be capped. I paid 900 quid for my couch. It took fucking best part of half a year to get to my house as well. But there's no fucking way that couch cost any more than 200 quid to make.
Yeah.
So that's the 350% profit.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. With this, it's something that we worry about all the time. I mean, we're speaking on minimum wage there, and we've got obviously the winter budget, or the autumn budget, coming on the 26th of November, I believe. Rachel Reeves is going to start announcing where she's going to bend you over and fuck you with a strap on, or probably the cock she's got between her legs. I'm not sure. She's definitely got something there, and it's not a vagina. Anyway, we're more than likely going to get screwed. We, as you rightly said before, taxes are definitely going to go up. And she'll probably announce some form of fucking increase for minimum wage. And it'll be something like 25p or something stupid like that. But then we'll see probably a 5% rise in fucking income tax and national insurance or something.
And that's exactly what the point is that I've just made.
Mm-hmm.
You can put minimum wage up, but what that does is for people like myself who are in what I would class as a skilled job, yeah, who've spent years getting qualifications and experience in what they do to get rewarded for that. Now, I'm not putting down anybody in any other position. I appreciate that. But, we both work hard, yeah, to do what we need to do, to get what we need to get. Stop swearing at me because of that. I spent fucking best part of stop it, you cunt. Best part of 5 years of my life in college, doing courses, doing my MVQ6 to get rewarded for that fact. And it's now been so as time goes on, it gets diminished because minimum wage workers' wages go up 25, 50p an hour. Mine doesn't. So what that does is it makes the best part of X amount high tax bracket end that I'm on be worth less. Because my wage hasn't gone up.
Yeah, you start to kind of feel like what's the point in me doing all these qualifications and everything like that to earn what I'm earning when someone who at some point on minimum wage not going to be able to catch it, but for not
over time it becomes less and less worth it, and it's not just about the wages of
but it's the time and effort.
It's not even just about the time and effort. It's about missing my kids growing up because I work away from home to do this. It's about all that kind of stuff as well, the stuff that isn't monetary value and the stuff that isn't working hard. We've had these discussions before privately between us about, again, it's part of our my mental health issues, is being away from home all the time, knowing I can't change it because I can't change it. It's my job. It is what it is. And if I change it, I then become unable to provide, which then creates a whole heap of other issues. So I do this to provide for my family and for my friends, even though you've pulled faces when I've paid for stuff that you didn't want me to and stuff like that when we've gone out. It becomes pointless over time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do. I generally do. I mean, obviously, I'm the other end of the spectrum. My skills have been earned by working in the industry that I work in. So I've earned my skills and my abilities through doing that. I didn't go to uni or anything like that. You
Well,
know,
you've done it the way it
fucking.
should be done, to be fair. You've done it the way that it should be done.
It did. I mean, there's an argument for both sides. Obviously, if you want to better yourself, you go to college and you go to uni. I didn't have that. I didn't have that option, unfortunately. For me, with different circumstances, I'll go into that at another time. But you know, I've done it where I've gained the skills and the knowledge for the industry that I work in, over doing it over many years in many different, you know, for many different companies. But you know, as we say, we've got the budget coming the end of this month. You know, Rachel Reeves has been warned by George Osborne. Um, you know, that it's difficult to break manifesto promise after she laid the groundwork for sweeping tax rises at the budget. Now, we all know that every time, you know, we come to a general election and all that, and they bring out these manifestos and shit like that, it's just a bunch of arse white paper because it means absolutely fucking shite. All it is it's a bunch of fucking words on paper to make themselves look fucking pretty, and then you get in the fucking office, they get in number 10, and they go, yeah, we can't do any of that. So we'll just fuck up. We'll just make things up as we go along for the next fucking 5 years. And that's exactly what Labour have done.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And Reform will do the exact same thing.
So I think, yeah. And so we go touching on Reform. I vote, right? And I never vote for the two big uns.
Yeah.
I never vote for them because we know what's actually happened. Again, this is more politics than budget, but to touch on it, the Conservatives over 14 years, was it?
Yeah.
Somewhere around that. Fucked us. Now, granted, at some point towards the end of their 14 years, they faced something that nobody has faced since World War II and Churchill.
Yeah, it was like 100 years or something, wasn't
it? In COVID-19. And yes, they made some poor decisions. And yes, they did some stupid things. But to be fair to him, didn't do all that bad a job, in my view. However, so what we've done is we've voted in Labour because Conservatives fucked up for 14 years. Didn't Labour fuck up for 10 years before the Conservatives fucked up for 14 years?
Yeah, that's why we went to the Conservatives. Why do we keep going
backwards and fucking forwards between these two parties that keep fucking us? I vote Reform.
I did.
Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But it can't be any worse than what we've already got. Can it?
Well, I mean, it could, but we're not going to know unless Farage gets in.
Give them the fucking chance, you know.
And that's it.
I've seen their manifesto.
Yeah.
Now, as we've just said, manifestos are bullshit. We know this.
Yeah.
Because they just try and sell themselves to us and then go back on it all. Which, by the way, I think manifesto.
There should be a law against that.
It should be law, a manifesto. It should be written into law that this is what you are going to do, because this is what you have promised us you're going to do.
Yeah, there should be sorry, what I was going to say is there should be like a time frame on certain things. So if you say in your manifesto that you're going to, again, let's just say raise the minimum wage up to £15 as an example, then, you know, the chancellor should say to them, right, how long do you think it's going to take you to do that? And if you say we can do that within 3 years, and then it gets to 3 years into your government and you have not done that, then there should be some form of repercussion.
We get sacked.
Yeah. If you don't deliver on that promise, then see you later. You're out. Game over.
I'd get sacked if I didn't deliver in my job.
Yeah.
You'd get sacked if you didn't deliver in yours. So why is the government any different? It's a job. Now it's a fucking high-profile job that the people have voted for you to do because of what you have promised us you will do. So then to go back on everything, immigration, the boats, the fucking hotels that they're fucking putting them all up in, which we're all paying for. The tax rises that she's thinking of. Now this is all speculation. Because again, it's the media and we all know what the media is like. But she puts tax up, and it might not necessarily be as black and white as we're putting income tax up. Again, extending the freeze on the personal allowance is raising tax, essentially. There's been speculation that should be putting up VAT again. And all other speculations of raising tax, which isn't as black and white, because this is how they do it. This is how they get it through. Me and you who don't understand tax or tax law or how they raise taxes, they baffle you with all the shit of the personal allowance not changing again, which is the easiest one to understand how it works and how that raises tax. And then goes into inheritance tax, lump sum withdrawals from pensions and pension tax relief. What she said, what's this here? In unbiased.co.uk, general taxes. In recent pre-budget speech, Reeves refused to rule out tax rises in the budget. In its manifesto, the Labour Party promised not to hike income tax, national insurance or VAT. Therefore, obviously, increasing these taxes will break their election promise. But
haven't they done that though anyway?
Well, yeah, but there's been rumours that looking at hiking income tax by 2p and cutting national insurance by 2p, which is kind of weird because I'm sure they've just done the opposite of that. Apparently, that would impact pensioners and landlords who don't pay national insurance but pay income tax, which, again, something else I don't agree with. Pensioners are paid into the fucking system.
Yeah, they shouldn't be getting taxed on anything.
They shouldn't be getting taxed. Fuck all.
Nope.
Now, my grandma at 87 has to do a fucking tax return. The woman can't even use a fucking computer without ringing me and asking me what to do this with and do that with. Luckily, she gets help. But that's not the point. She shouldn't have to do that.
No, she's done that all her life. She's paid her taxes. She's paid her dues time after time. And, she shouldn't have to do any of this shit in any form of way.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, I mean, what's retirement age now? Fucking 89.
It might as well be, mate. It's 68, I think it is for us.
I don't think it is, mate. I'm pretty sure it's in. I'm pretty sure it's in the 70s.
I don't know. Let's have a look, shall we?
Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it is in its 70s for men, 75, and then like 72 for women or something. If I remember rightly.
For both men and women. However, it's set to rise to 67 starting next year and potentially reaches 68 by 2046.
How old am I going to be? So I'll be working until fucking 68 then.
Oh, mate, we'll all be working till we're dead.
Yeah.
Because even if we do retire, we won't be able to afford to.
No, we'll be shite. I mean, can you imagine like someone working in the industry I do? Do you know what I mean? At 67 years old.
68.
On a busy Saturday night. Mate, it's a young I'm not. It's a young person's game, and I move quicker than some of the fucking 21-year-olds I've got in my place. Do you know what I mean? But it's not something that I would want to see a 68-year-old doing.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be something I'd want to see a 68-year-old doing either.
Do you know what I mean? It's definitely not for the fucking. It's not for the faint of heart. That the industry I work in, you've got to be fucking. You got to not hard as nails, but you've got to be able to fucking, move and stuff like that. But
yeah, but the thing you've got is you've got your head on you, and you took out a private pension long before it was made mandatory to take out a private pension.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So You've got we will get a state pension. It'll be fucking nothing, but we will get a state pension. I think it's £132 or £126 a week or something.
It's ridiculous, that, isn't it?
Plus, obviously, then the private pension, you've got what? You've got one or two. Do you opt into your workplace one, or do you just pay it all into your one?
I pay it all into mine.
Right, okay. So you've got your own private pension. I have a workplace private pension, which I found out the other day was doing quite well, actually, because
I can imagine
choices that I made. So we will get. I mean, obviously, the idea of pension is you've paid your mortgage, you've got nothing but a few bills, and your leisure activities to pay for, yeah, which is grand until you find out that your electric and gas bill have gone up fucking 40% because there are a bunch of robbing cunts. The council tax goes up because the government aren't funding the councils properly, and you have to pay for every fucking bin to get collected. And then your roof goes on your house, so you've got to pay 10 grand for that. And then your fucking boiler goes, so there's another 3.5 grand. And that's if they don't force us to start buying fucking heat pumps. Your house needs decorating because it's not been decorated for 40 years. Your telly dies. The telly's not mandatory, but it's pretty much, it's not a luxury anymore. What are you going to do? Sit in silence and do crosswords?
Yeah, I don't read. I don't read either, so that's me fucked.
Yeah, so and stuff like that. Your car fucking throws a fucking rod or something, or your fucking engine blows up. There's another fucking 5 grand if you know someone, and that's if you know someone. And if you don't, you've got to go and buy yourself a shitter of a car. So to get £126, I think it was, a week from state pension, and then assuming medium growth on your own pension, depending on what you've got in it and what you invest in, you're coming out with less than minimum wage, but you're getting taxed on that.
Yeah.
Because they've extended the fucking personal allowance freeze until 21, 24 or something, which will be all dead by then anyway, but
thankfully.
Taking the piss. ISAs are looking, she's looking at cutting the ISA amount, tax-free amount, from 20 grand to 10. I don't know about you.
You can't even have savings now.
You can't even have savings, no. But I don't know about you, but I don't put into an ISA mainly because as soon as I get to a point of what I've saved, something gets done in the house.
Yep.
Like the bathroom, the windows, the doors. My roof will need doing in the next 5 years. That kind of shit. So I can't even fucking afford to put in an ISA anyway. Salary sacrifice schemes. She's looking at scaling back salary sacrifice schemes. Now, there are a myriad of salary sacrifice schemes. My pension is a salary sacrifice scheme, for a start. Electric cars, salary sacrifice scheme to get people in electric cars. Childcare can become a salary sacrifice scheme if your company offers it.
Cycle to work.
You get a voucher or something, don't you? Cycle to work, same thing. You get a voucher and that's salary sacrifice. There's loads of different ones, but she's looking at capping them at a certain amount. So according to the reports, the amount that can be given up via a salary sacrifice scheme may be capped, which could impact high earners, or the tax exemptions may be removed. Landlords don't pay national insurance on their income from renting out, so she's looking at changing that. Property taxes, she's looking at replacing council tax with a new property tax based on the current value, or replacing stamp duty with a new levy on the sales of properties worth over £500,000. Wealth tax. What's that? A wealth tax is a direct levy on an individual's total assets, so it looks at accumulated wealth instead of annual income. Capital gains tax, again, she's looking at putting that up, or reducing the allowance. Well, it's already gone down from £12,300 to £3,000, which is a fucking big drop. Exit tax. This is an interesting one because what's happening is because they're putting all these taxes up and they're trying to rape us for all the money they fucking can. So what's happening is
people are leaving.
Everybody's leaving the country.
Okay, so you got to pay a fucking levy now to get out of the country.
So now he's looking at basically what it says here is there have been speculation that an exit tax could be introduced which would apply to those who leave the UK while owning assets that have risen in value but haven't been sold. At the moment, those leaving the UK can sell their assets after emigrating without paying capital gains tax. So basically, she's trying to stop people leaving the country for better tax benefits in other countries, but they keep all their stuff that they've got in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, she's looking at introducing what would basically, by the looks of that, be capital gains tax on selling your stuff in this country before you leave or after you've left. So basically, she's saying you can leave, but you have to sell your stuff, your property, and you have to pay capital gains tax on that property or on them sales. Will that stop people from leaving? It could do. But it'll also make people fucking resent it.
There's got to be like a time frame on that though. So for example, say that comes in and I decide to leave the country, or I want to leave the country, and then I sell up, and then 6 months later I then decide to move out. Is she gonna force me to think of that? Surely not.
It depends on a lot of stuff. So we pay first time buyers. I don't know if first time buyers not paying it is ending now. When I bought my house, I didn't have to pay stamp duty because I was a first time buyer. The stamp duty is a tax.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially like VAT. It's a percentage of what your property is worth over a certain amount. If I was to sell up and move, I'd now have to pay stamp duty, which the rules change all the fucking time, so you can never fucking tell what it'll be. You can get stamp duty calculators online, but if your property is worth within this amount to this amount, and then this amount to this amount, that's what your stamp duty is based on. It's a tax that you shouldn't have to fucking pay, to be honest, because you pay ridiculous amounts of interest over 30 years on a mortgage. I think I figured it out. I've just remortgaged because my 5-year fix was due up. And I've figured out that in the 5 years that I've owned my house, off the £112,000 that I bought the house for, I still owe £106,000 £104,000 on the mortgage. Now, just to put that into perspective, hang on, sorry, let me get my calculator because it's too late to be doing this kind of math without a calculator. So 112,500 minus 104,000 is £8,500. Yeah.
Yep.
£526.40 was my mortgage payment times 12 times 5. So I've paid in 5 years £31,584. But I've only paid £6,500 off my mortgage. Where's the rest of that go? Fucking interest.
Yep.
And my mortgage has just gone up payment-wise because the rates have gone up. So all this fucking money that goes into banks, it goes into fucking taxes and all this, that and the other. I just don't, back to what I was saying before, we'll leave the budget thing now. Well, actually, we won't. There's one other thing that I want to touch on that we're going to touch on the budget to do with electric cars and tax. But I don't understand how the amount of money that this country raises in tax, national insurance, and not just income tax, like I say, VAT, fuel duty, this, that, and the other tax, isn't enough to run the country without getting in debt.
It's because they want to go on holiday, but obviously they need more money. So according to Michael Shields, McNamee, who's a business reporter for the BBC, so take this with a pinch of salt. He reported yesterday on the 6th that drivers of electric vehicles could face the prospect of a new tax in this month's budget, with pressure on the Chancellor to find tens of billions of pounds in additional revenue. The BBC understands that there have been conversations within government about the possibility of a new levy on EVs. So fuel duty covers petrol and diesel, but there's no equivalent for electric vehicles. We want a fairer system for all drivers. So drivers of electric vehicles thinking that they could get away with, this tax and that, well, fuck you. But the one thing that bugs me about this one in particular is they wanted that whole electric car thing by, what was it, 2030?
Yeah.
Everyone in electric fucking cars by 2030, which is now being scrapped because they know they can't fucking do it.
Has it actually been officially scrapped? Because I heard it was going to be.
I don't think it's been scrapped officially, but I think it's either being put back or they're thinking about scrapping it because they know it's not going to work. It's just not feasible to have every household in the UK with an electric car. It's not feasible. It's not going to happen in fucking 4 years' time. So I think there were reports about putting it back or scrapping it. I'm not sure which one they're going with. But they wanted everyone in electric cars by 2030. And then they go and slap this on electric drivers. Now, as we've said in the electric, the electric car episode that we did a couple of months ago, we don't like electric cars. We think they are pointless. We think they are just stupid fucking toys for idiotic people to drive.
Yeah, well, on a scientific view of it, it's not a viable fuel for a vehicle.
It's not. I mean, we've said this on the podcast that if they say a car gets 300-mile range, then that's in perfect conditions from A to B and everything like that. And then we said on our podcast that if you start changing the fucking variables, if you're going on holiday and you've got all kinds of fucking tingers in your car, you tow a caravan, which we mentioned, that's going to reduce the miles by a good amount.
Yeah, it will.
By a good amount.
And besides that, the vehicle, again, like I said, we won't dwell on it too much, but the vehicle that you'd need to do what I need to do costs a fucking fortune. The tax is something that, right, okay, so I have two vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
My personal car costs £16 odd a month to tax.
Yep.
My personal pickup truck costs, I don't know what it is a month because I paid for a year outright and I've not had it a year yet. But my year outright was 370 quid, I think. Mm-hmm. So going off that, it probably cost touching £30 a month to tax. An electric car, they're not taxed at the moment, are they? I can't remember whether they're taxed or not, or whether they're just on a flat rate. I can't remember.
I think it's a flat rate.
But we pay, as this article's just said, as you've just said, we pay fuel duty.
Mm-hmm.
So this pay per mile tax will not come in for petrol and diesel cars.
No, this is for electric cars only.
There'll be a fucking backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you'd expect to happen then is a price of a litre of diesel to go from 130 a litre to 80p a litre.
Yeah.
Or 60p a litre to take the fuel duty off. Which is a possibility that could happen, depending on what this works as. I've read a couple of articles that have said this wouldn't necessarily be a charge per mile. As in, you wouldn't necessarily pay to the DVLA or whoever it is that takes the car tax an amount a year. What it could do is basically what fuel duty does for diesel and petrol drivers. It goes on to the cost of a kilowatt of charging your car or whatever it is, which would be a sensible way to do it. I don't know how they'd monitor that mileage-wise, whether it would then be a mileage charge.
I think it worked I think it's going to be like a mileage charge, because I think you look at it, there could be, a system in place where, when you go to taxi car or something like that, how many or when he takes it in for an MOT, for example, it'll register what mileage was on the MOT the year before, and then what mileage was on the MOT the year after. And then obviously they'll then log how many miles it's then done every time it has an MOT. But according to the Telegraph, EV drivers could be charged 3p per mile on top of other road taxes, amounting to an extra £12 on a journey from London to Edinburgh, for example. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a fair bit.
Right, okay, it doesn't sound like a lot. Say I have an electric car. I know that in my car, I do roughly 19,000 miles a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? That's £570 a year.
Yeah. When you put it up like that it is a lot. And if you times that by, say 100,000 people, that's a lot of money.
57 million. But the problem is, again, the same thing as what we've just talked about before we went into as we were talking through the budget. More cost, less benefits. And I'm not talking about benefits like people who don't work that get paid by the government, which I think, again, is something else that needs fucking looking at. But we won't go into that. More cost, less benefit. What I mean by that is we're paying more for shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting less for that shit.
Yep.
Paying for. I get the same mileage out of my vehicle if a fucking litre of diesel costs £1.20 or £1.30, but guess what? I'm getting less mileage out of it at £1.30 because it's costing me more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same principle with everything else. Shrinkflation. Yeah. Freddo's got a fucking mortgage these days. I remember getting a Freddo for a 5p.
Yeah. And now he's fucking 30p.
25, 30p now.
Mortgage, kids, everything.
Yeah.
Mortgage, tadpoles.
Keep his dick in his pants. But yeah, it's paying more, getting less, and that's what we're going on in this country. And a lot of that is due to greed in the government. A lot of it is due to paying for unnecessary shit, like the hotels for the fucking migrants, the processing for the migrants, and all this, that, and the other. It's going to get to a point where we're going to have had enough. And we will end up in a civil war.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, obviously we spoke about this as well, but I mean, look what happened after the Southport incident. Look at what happened up and down the country, and it's only going to take something to push us over the edge. To that's it. We've had enough, and it is slowly getting there. I mean,
well, it started not long ago. Something else we forgot to put in the notes, actually, as a bit of a funny, if not something thing. It wasn't all that long ago. It was probably a couple of months ago now, where they were painting roundabouts and fucking white lines on the road with the St. George's flag.
Yeah.
That is the start of what is going to happen.
Yeah.
We're getting fed up of being fucking taken the piss out of.
Yeah, cancelling Easter. Do you know what I mean? In schools. Do you know what I mean? Because we spoke about that, but it's things like that. But you know what else is gonna fucking really stir the country up?
Stir the country up? No, it's not going to stir the country up. What it's going to do is it's going to piss people the fuck off. You talk about digital IDs?
I am going to talk about digital IDs. I fucking love this. This is fucking amazing. So, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced he has plans to introduce digital ID cards across the UK. What a wanker.
Do you know why?
Go on. Because, I'm just going to think, and then you can say yes or no.
Go on.
So, I believe it's because of Tony Blair. Because years and years ago, he tried to introduce this when they were in office, or when he was in office, and he got absolute chat on. He got told to fuck off. He got told to do one, and it failed. But now his son is in charge of the company that they would use to introduce the digital ID platform. So he's bumming Keir Starmer. Get the digital IDs involved. Get the digital ID, and we'll make a buttload of money.
Just for the listeners, because obviously you can't see us because we don't do video. He was literally fucking the air then, and now he's sucking cock. No, right. Couple of things. First of all, that is not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
There is no proof at the moment that the company that Tony Blair's son runs is doing this. However, that aside, they're bringing in this thing to make sure that you can prove that you have the right to work in the UK.
That's the official statement.
Right.
But it's not what's really happening.
When he first announced the scheme, Starmer said you will not be able to work in the UK if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that.
I'm pretty sure he's gone back on that.
I'm pretty sure we already have that.
It's called a fucking passport.
No. That doesn't give you the right to work in the UK. It's called a national insurance number. I have one of those. You have one of those. Everybody who has a right to work in the UK has a national insurance number because you pay national insurance.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't have your picture on it.
Doesn't need your fucking picture on it.
Basically, from anyone listening from the outside in, because obviously we've got listeners in different countries.
Yeah.
Our system works very, very simply. So every citizen born in the UK gets registered a national insurance number, and then you receive that national insurance number at working age, and that is when we start paying tax.
16.
When you get to 16. So that's when we start paying tax and national insurance, everything like that, depending on obviously how much we earn. That gives you the right to work in the UK. That is just a number, though, unfortunately. But that is registered to every single person in the UK. If you don't have a national insurance number, you can't work in the UK. But we also have, obviously, our photographic ID, which we have, obviously, driving licenses, passports, and things like that. That is what companies will ask for as proof of who you are.
Yeah.
Now, the whole digital ID platform, basically what Keir Starmer said is all of your ID is going to be in one place. So instead of, basically, the way he's worded it is instead of going into a place of work and them going to you, can you prove who you are? Yes, here's my passport. Right, I will photocopy it and send it over to HR. They will process it and blah, blah, blah. You can show them an app on your phone and go, that's who I am. There's all my details. That's it. That's all that this digital ID is for. Now, I'm not being funny, but with the amount of things that have been cyber hacked over the years, that is a very fucking dangerous thing to have on your fucking phone at all times.
The privacy issue is the problem, right? If he introduces this digital ID, does that mean I don't have to pay 80 odd quid every 10 years for a passport? And I don't have to pay 20 odd quid or whatever it is now every 10 years to get my driving license renewed?
Well, there'll still be some form of charge, though, won't there?
Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't mean that, though. What will happen is we'll get charged for this, and then we'll get charged for passports still, and we'll get charged for driving licenses still, and whatever else fucking stuff you need to get as proof of fucking whatever. And this came up with the other recent introduction of when the Online Safety Act came into play.
Oh my fucking God.
So, apparently you can't have a wank without sending your picture to them. Right? Unless you're clever and you get a VPN like we did. Not for that. Yes, for that. Anyway.
Yes, it is.
So, the Online Safety Act made it so that so the idea of it was to protect children online, because obviously most things are online these days. And obviously dangerous things are online as well if you don't know what you're supposed to be keeping clear of, which children don't. Now, the porn thing grabbed the headlines, as it would do, because you're going to look at a headline that says porn more than you're going to look at a headline that says anything else. But it's not just affecting that. Xbox.
Yep.
PlayStation.
Yep.
Any online forum, including major online forums that help people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a suicide one, a suicide awareness one, or some group of some description that's been fucked because of it. Everything that's online now requires you to prove that you are over a certain age, whether it be 18, 16, whatever. I don't want... Again, it's about data. It's about privacy. You've got to take a photo of your face. Now, I buy 18 plus products online quite a lot, mainly because I'm away from home, so it's easy, and I can buy them online, get them delivered. Yeah, like most people do these days. These 18 plus products include things like smoking products and so on. Every single website.
Flashlights.
What?
Flashlights.
No, not flashlights. Cunt to clean out. Every single product that you buy or every website wants your proof, your photo of your face as proof that you're over 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I think is there 3 different companies, is it? Or 3 different providers now?
I think it's 3 different providers that that are basically the top ones of doing it. And then every time you have to sign in, you have to do it. The problem is, even if you have this digital ID, you know, we're signing in. So that's where you have to sign in every time you want to buy an 18 plus product. No.
We're coming. I think we've said it before in another thing, and I think we're going to start looking at closing with this. We've said this before. We are living in a dictatorship masked as a democracy.
Yeah.
The more and more of this shit that gets introduced, the more and more we are losing our privacy and our independence.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to stop.
100%. At the end of the day, we are human and we have the right to, our own privacy. We have the right to also do, I'm going to say whatever we want, but obviously there are limits. But if I want to sit at home without the restrictions of having to plaster my face all over the internet, do you know what I mean, put to someone to verify so I can have a fucking 5-knuckle shuffle in the privacy of my own home, then I shouldn't have to do that. And not only that, I do not want to be told that this is compulsory and you have no choice. Because I'm not being funny, I would quite happily go back down to a Nokia 3310 and tell him that I don't have the facility to that I can use digital ID, and I will just carry on carrying my bloody driving license with me, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, and the problem is, the fact remains that, because you sent it to me the other day, and I have actually seen that message when I kicked up my Xbox the last time I kicked it up.
I thought you would have.
In order to carry on playing my Xbox, one of the very few escapes I have from this fucking world, I have to take a photo of my face and send it to some cunt to prove that I am over 18.
And I'm not being funny, but your facial, this is another thing as well. A lot of, if I shave my beard, I don't look my age.
Yeah, same here, which is why I don't shave my beard.
And girls, again, this is not me being sexist or anything like that, but a girl at the age of 13, if she's very experienced with makeup, and if she's obviously dressed in a certain manner, she can look in a mid-20s.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this whole digital form of ID. people do not look their age, and people can be mistaken older than they are or younger than they're meant to be, and it causes a big problem. And Starmer needs to realize that, but he's not looking at the bigger picture. He's looking at a certain thing, and that's what he's totally focused on. But anyway, guys, this was meant to be a short episode, and it's turned into a 2-hour episode.
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half by the time we edit it, probably.
Yeah.
But even still, it's still quite a lengthy one, but we feel like it was needed, this one, because there's been a lot going on, like I said, since we last done an episode. So we hope that you've enjoyed it, and don't forget, as we've said before, and we will continue to say, at the end of every one of our episodes, if any of these things affect you in any form or way, please reach out to someone, talk to someone about anything. And you can always reach out to us as well, because we've got our own things. And if you do really need to talk to someone and you are struggling with anything that we spoke about previously or today, reach out, because it's always better to reach out to someone anyway.
Yeah, so I've upgraded. We've got a link tree now instead of all the separate links. So you can contact us through that. I will be putting in the episode notes a petition. I think last time I looked, it was at 2.5 million signatures or something for not introducing this digital ID. And there will be several other things in the episode notes and so on for any help that you might need or anything like that. And with future episodes coming up, there'll be a hell of a lot more of that as well. So, yeah, reach out, let us know, and we'll speak to you soon.
Take care, everyone.